Jaya Gopi Lahaba Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Bracha Janaranjana Yashodanandana Bracha Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shishi Radha Madhava Ki Jai Shishi Phalad Lakshman Singhadev Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitai Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda So Hare Krishna, liebe Devotees. Wie sprechen wir als erstes? Überhaupt nicht. Little bit. Wer außer Kishori Kun versteht kein Englisch? Aha, 2. Okay. Wer ist hier noch? Aha, hier. So, gibt es jemanden, der in irgendeine Richtung gerne übersetzen könnte, möchte, würde? Selim Prabhu? Kannst du, du würdest dann ins Englische übersetzen? Oder? Ja, dann musst du halt Kishori Kund übersetzen, wenn du von Englisch ins Deutsche übersetzen willst. Was ist dir lieber? Was ist einfacher? Okay, na dann kannst du dich hier in die Givik-Abteilung begeben. Und ja, aber wir wollen ihn jetzt nicht zwischen euch setzen. Achso, du übersetzt. Hare Krishna. Okay. So, auch ins Deutsche dann? Okay, gut. Ja, ich hab mir erlaubt, wieder die Technik mitzubringen, seit ich das besser lesen kann. Von der Größe her. Okay. So, wir lesen aus dem Madhya-līlā, Kapitel 19, Vers 69. Das sind die Unterweisungen, die Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sanatan Goswami gibt, und zwar in Prayag. Prayag ist dort, wo die Ganga und die Yamuna zusammenfließen. Okay. Alle bequem? Okay. Steht da dran? Ja. Inho naspa shiha inho jadi ati hina Vaitika yachika tumi kulina pravina Ino naspa shia inho jadi adi hina Vaidika chanika dumi kulina pravina Ino naspa shiha inho jadi adi hina Vaidika chanika dumi kulina pravina Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Wieso habe ich 2 Cups hier? Eins ist warm, eins ist kalt. Super. Okay, möchte jemand chanten? Hina Vaidika chanika tumi kulina pravina Ino das pashidan idan hina Vaidika chanika tumi kulina pravina Svashida ino chadi ati hina Vaidika chanika tumi kulina pravina Ino spaspashina ino chadi ati hina Vaidigachanika dumi kulina pravina. What a cheese. Ino spashida ino jadi adihina. Vaidigachanika dumi kulina pravina. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. Inho, him, naspashya, do not touch. Inho, he, chadi, caste, adihina, very low. Vaidika, a follower of Vedic principles. Chanakya, a performer of many sacrifices. To me, you, Kulina, aristocratic Pramana, Pravina, an experienced person. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hast du ein deutsches, Govindadev? Okay, gut. Generally, Brahmanas are puffed up with false prestige. Oh, sorry, here. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't touch him, for he belongs to a very low caste. You are a follower of Vedic principles and are a well-experienced performer of many sacrifices. You also belong to the aristocracy. Purport. Generally, Brahmanas are puffed up with false prestige because they belong to an aristocracy and perform many Vedic sacrifices. In South India especially, this fastidious position is most prominent. At any rate, this was the case 500 years ago. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually started a revolution against this Brahminical system by inaugurating the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. By this chanting, one can be delivered regardless of caste, creed, color, or social position. Whoever chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is immediately purified due to the transcendental position of devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here hinting to Vallabha Bhattacharya that an exalted Brahmana who makes sacrifices and follows Vedic principles should not neglect the person who is engaged in devotional service by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Actually, Rupa Goswami did not belong to a lower caste. He was from a highly aristocratic Brahmana family, but due to his association with the Muslim Nawab, he was considered fallen and was excommunicated from the Brahmana society. However, due to this advanced devotional service, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as a Goswami. Vallabha Bhattacharya knew all this. One who is a devotee is above caste and creed, yet Vallabha Bhattacharya felt himself prestigious. The present head of the Vallabha Bhattacharya Sampradaya of Bombay is named Dikshita Maharaj. He is very friendly to our movement, and whenever we meet him, this learned Brahmana scholar highly praises the activities of the Hare Krishna movement. He is a life member of our society, and although he is a learned scholar in the Brahminical caste tradition, he accepts our society and considers its members bona fide devotees of Lord Vishnu. So that's a nice thing on the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Srila Prabhupada often goes into some details, like he lists who is the head of the sampradaya, what goes from Vallabha Bhattacharya. And sometimes also Srila Prabhupada says when there's name mentioned of a city or of a little village in India, then Prabhupada writes, yeah, and there goes a train, there's a train station, and you go with that train, you come there, and then you go a little bit, and then you come to this and that temple or something like that. So Prabhupada very often gives some kinds of like common hints. I thought I should look it up if this Dikshita Maharaj is still in charge of the nowadays, but I think it's probably he's not on his position anymore. But you could see who's now there, and maybe he still thinks of the members of the Hare Krishna movement highly, Vaishnavas. So the translation again. First of all, who speaks here? Of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, but to whom he speaks? Huh? No, he speaks actually here in this. Sorry, he speaks about Rupa Goswami, but to whom he speaks? To Vallabhabhatacharya, because it happened that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he resided in Prayag. Prayag is what is Prayag famous for? Huh? Yeah. And then what happens there every 12 years? Yeah, Kumbh Mela. Huh? Yeah, this is after 12 years. So maybe Govinda, if he knows more maybe about the Kumbh Mela system. Every 12 years there's Maha Kumbh Mela, and every year is normal. Or? Every 3 years is small, every 6 years bigger, and every 12 years big. Big. Big, yeah. Every 144 years, very big. The whole world goes then there. Does this falls in our? When is the next big in our lifetime? It was. Oh. We missed it. We should make one here in Passau. Because also Triveni, yeah? Actually, the Suyash, the council community, he said that he's trying to make Passau a sister city of Prayag. This would be quite good. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he resides in Prayag, and in this time Vallabhabhatacharya also had a house in Prayag. Actually, Vallabhabhatacharya is from a highly aristocratic family, and it's said that his father, in a very early age, he took sannyas. But after a while, he went back to his family or to his son to take care of his son. So, then Vallabhabhatacharya, he was growing up in this environment and was very learned. Therefore, he traveled in his young age, around 16 years. He traveled India three times through India in 18 years. And it takes approximately 6 years, because Mahaprabhu went also 6 years through India, especially the south. And this Vallabhabhatacharya, he did it 3 times. And when he was about 30, he came back and he married. And then he moved to Prayag. And when he was living in Prayag in this stage, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on his pilgrimage, he went there and he met Vallabhabhatacharya. And as a sannyasi, one who is in a renounced order, sannyas means also you don't light, as in Bhagavad Gita said, you don't light any fire. So sannyasis actually, they give up the pramana thread, the upavitram, they cut down the sikha, and they don't perform any pujas or rituals anymore. Therefore, it means in Bhagavad Gita says they don't light any fire. But this means also they don't light the fire also not for cooking, right? Because food you also have to offer in a sacrifice. So somewhere they have to eat, unless they live from roots and berries from the forest. But and the system is that a sannyasi has to be invited. So if you see a sannyasi walking down there on the road, like Kadambakana Swami sometimes, you immediately try to get him to your home and feed him, because this is very, very auspicious. So, and it was the system. So many people, when they saw a sannyasi, they, let's get him to our home, because this purifies our home. Because the sannyasis, guess what, also supposed to take the bad reactions from the house. No? So therefore, everybody is eager to get the sannyasi to the home, to get purified. And Vallabhabhadacharya then thought, okay, let's get this very effulgent young sannyasi to my home, because he's so radiant, he's so effulgent, and he was very attracted to this. So he got Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his home, but could not really understand who really Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. He just thought it's a very, very special sannyasi, right? And then it happened also that Rupa Goswami and his brother Sri, also Vallabha, Sri Vallabha, I think. Sri Vallabha, they went to Prayag to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and also to look for Sanatana Goswami. Because Sanatana Goswami, they were on the way to Vrindavan, and Sanatana Goswami was actually on the way back to Puri. They kind of missed each other. So and they went there, and they understood that Mahaprabhu was in Prayag. So they wanted to meet him, but of course they cannot just, you don't go just uninvited to somebody's home, especially when there's a high pramana like Vallabhabhadacharya. So they approached from outside, and then somebody announced to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is Rupa Goswami and Sri Vallabha offering their obeisances. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Vallabhabhadacharya, let's go and let's get them. And but then a little bit cynically, Mahaprabhu made this comment, don't touch him, Rupa Goswami, for he belongs to a very low caste. You are a follower of Vedic principles and are a well-experienced performer of many sacrifices. You also belong to the aristocracy. So it's a little bit a cynical comment, because Mahaprabhu understood that Vallabhabhadacharya, he had some kind of pride of his position in his heart. So therefore he said, better don't touch them, because they're from a low position. As Srila Prabhupada explains here in the purport, actually Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and Sri Vallabha, they were not from a low position, but actually quite from a high aristocratic Brahminical family. But because they worked for the Muslim government, they got degraded. If you work for a Muslim, you got degraded. No, actually, in the sense of the Muslim, you become upgraded. You become upgraded from Hindu to Muslim, because, right, the Musliman is the right one. But from the Hindu perspective, it looks exactly opposite. So Rupa Goswami, they didn't mind, because they understood that actually it's the soul what is in the body, who is a servant of the Lord in any condition, like our Atmaram Prabhu, serving the Lord, now giving us darshan of the Lord. He's coming out. Shri Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Shingadev Ki Jai. Yes, and so this was the situation. So Mahaprabhu telling him, you better look after your caste, because if you highly Brahmana and you associate with somebody who associates with Muslim, you become like the same. And actually not. That's the whole teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, which cult or religion you follow. You just take the name of the Lord and chant it, and if possible, chant it together with others. This becomes devotional service called Sankirtan. Yes, we glorify the Lord together. And so this what Prabhupada says. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he started a revolution, right? Because he brought this. Hey, Charu Swami. He started a revolution because in India this was so deeply rooted, this understanding that you have to be part of the right caste, of the right gotra. Gotra actually is the lineage you come. Goes way back to the Prajapatis, from which lineage you come, to the great sages. I just had to make a prayer for somebody, also Indian, and Indians like to still put, if they have, then they announce when they say, that's my name, I'm Hatyat from Agastya Gotra. I had somebody from Agastya Gotra. But are we also a Gotra? Chudya Gotra. When you come to India and somebody is asking you, sometimes asking, you Gotra? What's your Gotra? Then you say, Achyuta Gotra. Say, ha. Because Achyuta is Krishna. So we belong to the Krishna Gotra, the Gotra of Sri Krishna. Sure, if somebody asks you, which Gotra, deine Lehrerin in der Schule, wenn die fragt, was für ein Gotra, sagst du Achyuta Gotra. Ja. And so Mahaprabhu, this the whole thing is that we don't care. We don't care where you come from. You come as you are and chant the name of the Lord. This is the revolution. And India in this time they had a hard time to swallow this, especially the Brahminical caste. They even sometimes they went to Muslims and said that this, when in Shiva Sangam, the Hindu Brahmanas, they went to the Muslim government complaining about this Shrivas, what he's doing. He's disturbing us. The whole night he's chanting, and guess what? In our scripture, my dear Muslim Nawab, in our scriptures it said, you cannot chant the names of the Lord loud. It's an offense. So you have to make sure that our Dharma is still intact. So therefore, fight, kick him out, this Shrivas Sankam, and all his sentimental followers who howling at night. And why they howl at night? Because they're hungry. Because they don't work, they just worship Krishna, and then they have nothing to eat, and then the whole night they're howling because of the empty stomach. Such things they were saying. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he could understand that this Vallabha Bhattacharya, he had some tint of this understanding, because you take a sannyasi to your home, this is very prestigious. And where he come from Navadvip. This sannyasi comes from Navadvip. And Navadvip is a great, in this time was like a university city, like, what is a university city? Harvard in USA, or here, Munich? Erlangen is a university city, I don't know. It was considered like the head of the philosophical schools in India in this time. And actually Mahaprabhu, before he took sannyas, as Nimai Pandit, he was a great teacher. He was well known already in his young age. He was like, they called him Pandit. So when he when you have such a sannyasi at your home, then that's very prestigious. And then we have to understand, when Rupa Goswami and Sri Vallabha, when they traveled, I don't know if you traveled, when you travel, back in my saffron times, I used to travel a lot, and we didn't had, it was kind of a custom in Leipzig, because we we had, our leader was kind of enhancing this to us, that you just hitchhike or something like that, And once my longest was, I hitchhiked from East Germany to Croatia. Got my second initiation there. Why? The devotees arranged everything for me, even a flight to Croatia. They were very inexpensive in this time. And we went to a preaching program in Leipzig. And then I was freshly shaved and saffron and everything. And I thought, okay, I have to go to the airport now, because my flight is going at 3 something. So I went to the airport and said, flight to Croatia. And said, oh, it's gone. I said, no, here it says 3:30 arrival. In Rijeka. So I was so embarrassed, because it was kind of a hidden secret. What I knew, that actually they arranged that I get my second initiation there in Rijeka. There was a summer camp. In this time there were many summer camps, especially in the Balkan area. So when you went where your gurus is, there many gurus came, and you went there, and it was very nice. So I was so embarrassed, because my dear friend Pradyumna, he arranged the flight, he paid also for it. The Maya, poor man. And I thought, I can't go back. Everybody was like, Ram, maybe when you come back, maybe let's see, maybe something special happens, And I got the hint, like, okay, And so I thought, I can't come back. How is this possible? And this whole summer camp was about 1 week, and the initiation were planned for the end of the summer camp. It was a Radha Yatra in Rijeka, and so I went out of the airport, went down on the road, and hitchhiked. It was then 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like, I don't know. And there was also a big, huge shower at Dreieck Holledau, where I ended up. I slept in a telephone box. Nowadays you don't have this anymore. I slept in a in a telephone box, no Telefonzelle. Telefonzelle ist wie ein kleines Haus, ein kleines Häuschen, wo gerade eine Person drin passt, zu telefonieren. And I put my isolation mat on with my backpack. Everything was in this box. And guess what? Telephone boxes at nighttime, they never, the light is always burning. So I slept there somehow. But devotees can sleep, especially me. I can sleep everywhere. And so I slept there, just in the nighttime. When the rain, it was like a heavy rain. And when the rain stopped, then some people passed by. Someone is sleeping here. Hello! They opened the door, and it was like, And the next morning when I woke up, I opened the door, and there was many empty beer bottles in front, and I don't know, it was like... So, but what I did then, I removed my dhoti, I went to some tap, and it was a petrol station, and took kind of a shower under the tap. Everybody was looking, what this guy is doing. Then I put on my dhoti again, made puja, worshipped Giriraj. This was. I had so many. How to say? Adventures with Giriraj. Sometimes I miss this time. Giriraj and myself on the road. This was complete freedom. Later on the day, police stopped, because they always, they looked when somebody is. And it was so hard to get somebody to stop the car, because everybody was like, they stopped me, but they could just not stop the car, because it was like, some alien landed somewhere, UFO, somebody with Captain Spock, something like this. And then the police thought, what do you have inside here? And I had to show him my little Giriraj and everything. And I told him, because my guru once he did this when somebody tried on the on the border, they tried to examine his Shalagram Shilas. He said, "Oh, be very careful. When you touch them, you will get a disease." They left it, So I also said to him, "Oh, don't touch them. It can be that, you catch some disease from it." And the policeman was, okay, He thought maybe one can smoke it, or I don't know what he thought. Anyway, so I after 2.5 days, I came to Croatia. And my point is, when you travel, you look also a little bit worn down, And I mostly then in the end always some cause hold it. And the people who took me, they were very special. I could understand Krishna made them to stop because they had to get a message somehow. It was very nice actually. But Rup Goswami and Sri Vallabha, they went only walking. And you stop there, you take a shower, you wash maybe your clothes in the river, but after some days your clothes, they look also river washed. So they look quite worn out, and probably they didn't had time to, or to stop on some petrol station and take a hot shower or shave themselves or whatever. So they looked quite, like really people from the road. So this Vallabha Bhattacharya was a little bit like, ooh, who are they? The Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, you be careful, don't touch them." And later on, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, he with his associates, and was time for Ratha Yatra again, and all the devotees from Navadvip came, Advaita Acharya came, Nityananda came, all of them came, all the Maharatis, the Maharati devotees, they came. And Sri Vallabha Bhattacharya also came to Puri. And when he came in the association of all of them, Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, yes, this Vallabha Bhattacharya, please come, he's a very, very learned scholar." And then Vallabha Bhattacharya came in the association when he saw all this, Prabhupada always says, the stalwart devotees, right? The stalwart devotees, when he saw them, he saw they all effulgent. And the Caitanya-caritāmṛta says he looked like a duck. Vallabha Bhattacharya looked like a duck coming in the association of swans. Right? And so Vallabha Bhattacharya, he could also recognize this, they are vibrating on a different level. Sometimes some esoteric people, they say, "Oh, I'm vibrating on a higher level." So he could understand something is going on here. And because he was a very learned person, because when he toured 18 years through India, it's not just that he walked, he was one of them who went to different cities, to different scholars, and challenged them and then defeat them. And this was where he was famous for. So, and when he came, then he thought, okay, I have to prove myself. And he started always having arguments, and mainly with Advaita Acharya, older man. So, and Advaita Acharya always refuted him, like, bam, give him back. And always when Vallabha Bhattacharya came home to his kutir, he thought, they always defeat me, but if I one time I can defeat them, that would give me so much pleasure, because I'm a great scholar. And this was his trap, that he thought, I'm very special. So the next morning, he came to the assembly of devotees, and he said to Advaita Acharya, "You Vaishnavas, you're always chanting the Lord's holy name, right? But actually, you are wrong. Because why you are wrong? Because it's stated that a chaste wife, never calls her husband by his name. And you all, or we all, as Jivas, we are Prakriti. So we belong to the female section. And Purusha is the Lord, is Krishna. So when you guys walk around and call out Krishna, 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 and Govinda. And what else? Mukunda. Gopal. What else are names for Krishna? Gopinath. Keshava. Gopichana Vallabha. Gokulananda. Huh? Damodar, yes. Madhusudana. Madan Mohan. Huh? Yashodanandana, yes, so many names. Huh? Rishikesha. Wow. Or? No, this. Giridhari. So many names. And you call out your husband by the name. That's wrong. That's wrong. You can't do this. And then Advaita Acharya said, Actually, the foremost thing is that the wife obeys the order of her husband. And the husband told us, chant my name. So, done. And Vallabhabhadacharya was like, how is this, again, I'm humiliated in front of everybody. How is this? And then actually, he said, he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, actually, I wrote commentaries on the names of Krishna. You want to hear them? And Mahaprabhu said, no. I'm not so advanced as you, and I only know, that name is Krishna and Yashodanandana. I don't know anything more. The son of Yashoda. And what else is there to know for me? I don't want to hear this. And so he went and was very disappointed because actually he wanted to, his main thing was to convince Mahaprabhu that he is very learned. And he said he doesn't want to listen to his commentaries and to his stuff. So then he went to Gadadhar Pandit, and he started to have kind of a relationship with him. So I don't know if you had this, somebody is coming to you, give you presents, and you feel not quite right because you think this person comes not for me, he actually want to have something. So Vallabhabhadacharya, he had to kind of a relationship with Gadadhar, and came to him, he praised him, he said, so wonderful that you're here, and you're such a great devotee. And Gadadhar thought, that somehow sounds a little bit fishy, all of this. I actually don't want to associate with him too much, because after all, he is not in the favor of the Vaishnavas. And now this person come to me and try to have a relationship with me, and how should I reciprocate? So he was praying to Krishna, said, please protect me, help me. I don't know how to handle this. And my reputation, in front of the Vaishnavas will be spoiled, because they're thinking I hang out with him, and actually he always challenges the Vaishnavas. So they will think I'm on his side. So this was the mind of Gadadhar. And then and one day Vallabhabhadacharya said, Gadadhar, did you hear my explanations about the names of Krishna? And Gadadhar said, no, I don't want, it is okay, I don't want to hear. No, you have to hear it. But you listen, Krishna is like that. And he started to forcefully, yell at Gadadhar, his commentaries, whatever. And Gadadhar was thinking, Krishna, how I get out of here? And then in one point, Vallabhabhadacharya, he went to Mahaprabhu and said, actually, I wrote a comment to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the commentary of Sridhar Swami, what was in this time was the highest, peak of commentaries to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, Sridhar Swami's commentaries made the Bhagavatam as understandable as we have it nowadays. Or, like Prabhupada, he translated, or he looked very much also in the commentaries of Sridhar Swami. So, and he said, this Sridhar Swami actually is not good, said Vallabhabhadacharya, because he interprets interprets scriptures according to time, place, and circumstances, and therefore it gets contaminated. So I have a new commentary. Would you like to hear it? And Mahaprabhu said, "Oh wait, do we have this somewhere?" Say? One who comments on Srimad Bhagavatam following in the footsteps of Sridhar Swami will be honored and accepted by everyone. And whatever you might write due to false pride trying to surpass Sridhar Swami would carry a contrary purport. Therefore, no one would pay attention to it. Sridhar Swami is the spiritual master of the entire world because by his mercy we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. I therefore accept him as a spiritual master, says Mahaprabhu. You have dared criticize Sridhar Swami and you have begun your own commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, not accepting his authority. That is your false pride. You are both a greatly learned scholar and a great devotee. Wherever they are... Oh no, wait a second. So, So this was the explanation of Mahaprabhu. He didn't like it. I look for a special what Mahaprabhu said. Wait a second. Okay. So when he says this, Mahaprabhu actually he was smilingly replied. Mahaprabhu smiled when he said, "Oh, I have a new commentary to the Srimad Bhagavatam." He said, "One who does not accept the Swami, the husband, therefore charu." Therefore, because this was the point, Mark 9. This was the point in his first place where Vallabhabhadacharya said you should not call your husband by the intimate name like Krishna. You should some in some couples it is common that the wife says to the husband, "Swami, Swami." I know one couple who does this. And he calls her Devi or something like that. So this is how you should address your husband. It's not my wife. Advaita, you are Swami? No. Anyway, it said if the wife have to give or the husband have to give permission to the wife to call him by the intimate, by his name. So, and therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says here, one who does not accept the Swami, the husband, as an authority, I consider a prostitute. Ooh. So what he did actually, he said to Vallabhabhadacharya, you actually a prostitute, because you don't accept the commentary of the Swami, of the spiritual master of Sridhar Swami here. And then after saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very grave. He was smiling, he said actually, you're a prostitute. And then his face froze. And everybody, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everybody was, after saying this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very grave. All the devotees present derived great satisfaction from hearing this statement. So they were all like, ooh, ooh, this was something. And then actually, Vallabha Bhattacharya, then he understood that he has a big mountain of false pride. And Krishnadas Kaviraj says, it's like with Indra is so much in the false pride. And here we have the connection again with these brahmanas who think themselves higher. And the demigods, they also think themselves actually the one who run the universe. Like if you Surya, the sun god, I mean, you the man in the universe. Wherever your rays fall, wherever your grace appears, life appears. You Surya, you heat up the universe. So who dare to come and tell me? Maybe Indra sometimes come, but otherwise, let get out of my clans. You just disturb my clans by throwing shadows. So of course they're highly managed of the universe, and we are not there to criticize them. But we have to understand that the head of all the managers of the universe, Indra, he went in great trouble. And actually in the Bhagavatam, especially, Indra doesn't come out so well. Doesn't come out so well. Many incidences where he even fought against a demon. Which demon? Vrittasura. And but who the Bhagavan, who in the end is glorified? Who the Bhagavan glorifies? Huh? The demon, yes. It's not Indra, who actually then in the end he killed him, but the demon, in the way how Vrittasura was killed, it was so glorious. Also true, but who is not a great devotee? I mean, Hiranyakashipu is also a great devotee. But the role he played, Indra is also a great devotee, but because of his high position. Yeah, but if you hear his explanations after Hiranyaksha died to the wives of Hiranyaksha, you can see actually he has quite some knowledge. Anyway, so they have quite a pride, and this is the lesson for us, that when we know something, we become very proud. But knowledge alone doesn't count if you don't know how to apply it. If you're not wise. Everybody can cut with a knife. You don't need, even Charu knows now how to cut with a knife. Even Murari. Yes. Yeah, but this is the danger. If you don't know how to cut with a knife and what to cut with a knife, that's very dangerous. So only you know how to hold a knife and how to cut something. It doesn't give you the right to go to the Universitätsklinik in Passau in the morning with Jagadish and says, okay, now I also like to cut somebody. Then you become very dangerous. So if we know something, or if we have some position, we always have to remind ourselves that actually I have a position because of service. My position is to serve. And the higher position means actually you have more responsibility to serve. You have more people to serve. And this, everybody who is in some kind of position, and even if you're the one who advises the new bhakta how to clean the toilet, you should not become proud of this. We should always remember that actually here to serve. Right? And therefore, speaking all these words, I know I'm not a great example of this humility. So I ask you for blessings that I really can understand and get not knowledge, get be also wise and know how to apply knowledge, and knowledge, the actual ornament for knowledge is humility. Therefore, there's even in the Western, there's the saying, I know that I don't know anything. Right? So humility is a very precious ornament of knowledge. And please bless me that I can one day gain this ornament. In this way, I really can serve you. And please let me stay in your association. You all my family, and although sometimes I am not the best part of the family, please be kind to me and my family, and let me please stay here and somehow or other try to serve you. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So Hare Krishna, are there any comments or questions? Sanjay was first.
My guru said that to practice Krishna consciousness and now relate. Wir sprechen Englisch.
Yeah, what?
My guru, he likes to say that relating to Krishna consciousness, we spoke about being responsible for others, so taking a good word, I hope, spiritual leadership. So whatever, small or big field of influence. And my guru says that Krishna consciousness can be very, very difficult if you do it in a matter of duty. But it is becoming the more you have love, the easier it is. So maybe you can explain what is love and how to practice, how to get there, how to get love.
Well, I guess you ask your guru, since he made this comment.
You're representing that.
No, I would never dare to present. I don't know. I just can get. I mean, it's you serve out of duty. You do your duty. You serve with love. You will gain love. If you love somebody, love will always attract love. Love will come back. If you are proud, then pride will come back. You will see. You will face pride if you're proud. You will face love if you love.
So where does love come from?
Where does love? Love is in you. Love is in everybody. The soul is made out of love, and not only love. Love is service. Love means service. So the wife, out of love, she cooks for her husband, or the husband cooks out of love for his wife. Or Advaita also sometimes happens. No, it's true.
The Buddha Swami said a husband should know how to cook because
Yeah.
he also likes to eat.
Sure.
Whoever likes to eat needs to know how to cook. Up to the Buddha Swami.
Yeah. And he says also there's no way of cooking if you don't know how to taste. He says many things about cooking. No, but yeah, this is the thing. So we have service. We are made. The soul is made out of service. Radharani's form is service. There is nothing in the body of Radharani than service. Even each hair, what comes out of her head, is put in a way to attract Krishna. Everything is service to the Lord, and we are in the constitution of Radharani. So we have this love, we have this service. It's in us, in a tiny, fragrant. And if we let this love come out and pair it with service, then we come back to our original position. And we have this, but we have to connect it with Krishna. We have to target. Krishna is the target. We have to point it to Krishna, because this love and service comes out anyway. But where is my target? Is it my boss? Is it my family? Right? But if your target is Krishna, then it's also your boss. It's also your family. It's also your society. It's also your community, because you're watering the root of the tree, right? And when you don't have love for the tree, why you should water it? Only for the fruits? No, there will naturally will there be some love. And even if you do it in the beginning out of duty and actually you want to have the fruits, it's like offering, oh, Krishna, I cooked you something, pasta and pizza. Krishna said, I didn't ask for pasta and pizza, I asked for rice, sabji and dal, but since you like it, I like it. That's love. Krishna maybe hates pasta. All this yeast and all this cheese, this yellow cheese or whatever, maybe he hates it, but he eats it because out of love for us. And we give it to, don't want to comment on Joe's picture now. So it's like, this is love. And the parents accept it, say, wow, that's incredible. Yeah. It's true. Okay. Hare Krishna. The Daruka was first.
So actually, you said this about this statement. You said when he was asking for blessings, about this statement. Like I know I don't know nothing. There is a statement. Yeah. There is a statement. You said that you know that you don't know nothing.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I often hear like devotees like this is a very humble statement. Yeah. And I often hear devotees like, it's kind of like uttama-adhikari mentality, yeah? It's like, everybody else is devotee, I'm not devotee. But I think, it's very nice if it comes naturally, but, I think that it's like, I don't mean you personally now, but usually, I think it's useless to like try to imitate pure devotees. It's like sahaja mentality. It's like because when, for example, like I talked with some devotees that were like, and then when you tickle their ego a little bit, and then it's, oh, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda, then you know something, yeah, you know something. Don't tell me you don't know nothing. Because, we know something, and this mentality, like when we are so humble, like it means that we actually understand that this knowledge comes from Krishna, and this knowledge is always upgraded because Krishna's Lila is eternal. And it's like always like for example, Srimati Radharani always cooks, she never cooks the same meal twice. Yeah. So like I think it's like
Question. Running out of time.
No, it
What's
was
the question?
Yeah. No? Okay? Can I do a comment?
We're running out of time.
Yeah. So like I think the devotees should be like careful with this like statements when they're really like, are you really on this platform or you just limited in the pure devotees?
Yeah. But also, Prabhupada said, you fake it and then you make it. It's like when what was the brother of Ramānanda? Gagamuni. Gagamuni, when he first came to the temple, the first times, he didn't bow down before Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada asked him, why don't bow down like the others? He said, well, Prabhupada, I don't feel like to bow down. And this was an honest statement. And then Prabhupada said, do it anyway. One time you will feel it. So this is fake it and then make it. Doesn't mean we should become fake, and I understand your point, and it's for sure it's true, but in one sense. But on the other hand, if we wanna develop humility, we first have to try to really try to feel how does it feel to be humble. Because if we don't know what means to be humble, then how we should have the desire to be even be humble.
But what do you think about Dhruva Maharaj, for example? He was following his nature.
He was what?
Trying to be artificially humble.
Dhruva Maharaj. No, but he became humbled.
Yeah, but later when he had a realization, actual realization, he didn't try to artificially okay, mother, you were right,
No, but to get realization, you have to be humble, because otherwise you don't get realization, because you will always stuck with your own prediction of the situation.
But he, the point was that he followed his inner feeling, he followed his nature, and he went, for example, to Mr. Pasi from like wrong reasons, yeah, like materialistic reasons. He wanted the kingdom of his father, yeah. And then actually when he got the grace, because of Mr. Pasi, yeah, and because of his determination, he got the grace of the Lord. He wanted the right thing for the wrong reason, yeah. Yeah, but then he the mind changed. So that was my son.
Well, yeah, but you can also say he was he was humble in that sense. He followed the instruction of his mother, because it was his mother who said, you go to the forest, there you found Narayan. And then he found Narada Muni and he gave him instructions. So he followed Govindadev.
I just wanted to say in connection to Dhruva Maharaj, when he realized that he did not want the kingdom, but then he still had to get the kingdom. And he didn't want to, he actually wanted to go straight to the spiritual world. He said, no, you had this desire,
Yeah.
now you have to rule for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
So you carry a desire, you will be fulfilled as well. Then it makes Mishra Bhakti so pure.
So careful what you desire. Okay, Advaita, Acharya. Also die Sprache vergessen.
In Mayapur, when you offer a plate to Lord Nishingadev, then you have to write your name, and then you also ask for Gotra, and you write Chutya Gotra.
Ah, this was your comment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much again, and yeah, sorry for bothering you. Hare Krishna. Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Shingadev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnava.